Welcome to Techiechap. In today's episode, we will be taking a look at something that is completely different. It's not Linux, it's not even BSD. No, it's Haiku OS. Haiku OS is something that was originally developed back in 2000 and it has been going for nearly 20 years. It's based on BOS. Now, BOS was an operating system that was originally being considered by Apple as the replacement for OS 9 back in the day. However, Apple chose to go with Next Systems, which was owned by Steve Jobs, and after that, history was made. How it could have been so different if they had chosen BOS as their operating system. However, what does Haiku make of it in 2022? Let's find out after the intro. All right, here's the bootloader screen for Haiku, and you will see this if you are installing Haiku or loading Haiku. That's a really nice bootloader screen, and you get this welcome to Haiku, and you can either choose to install Haiku or try Haiku, and we're going to install it. So I'm just going to select the correct key map, which is nicely done via this menu down here, and I'm going to click on install and click continue. All right, no partitions found. Now I'm installing this on a VirtualBox, and let's just go for B file system. Continue, format, write changes. Okay, all right. Hopefully that should be ready to go. There we go. Okay, so I'm installing this on a VirtualBox. However, I have installed this on several laptops as well, just to test it out, and it does work really well on a whole variety of different hardware. What I would say is things like webcams and things like that aren't detected or don't seem to work. However, the Haiku operating system itself does work really well and really nicely. It's just that there are any sort of extras or USB devices that you plug in, they don't tend to work. Hence why I'm doing this on a VirtualBox. But I think it is still worth looking at. So let's click begin to begin the installer. And off it will go. You'll notice up here it's the Haiku development release, and that's just to get the very latest version of Haiku. I did get in contact with the developers at Haiku, and they basically said I needed to download the development release to get the latest patches, so I have done that. All right, that was a really quick installation, so I'm now going to restart. Okay, so here's that nice Haiku bootloader screen that we saw earlier. However, this time, hopefully, having installed, we should be presented with the desktop, and we are. We have a quite plain looking but nice looking desktop. Everything looks fairly clean. On the left up here we have some icons on the desktop, so VBox hard drive, and then a shortcut to home, and then a trash can. A nice Haiku wallpaper desktop, and then we have our feather menu up here on the right hand side. Okay, I'll just click on about Haiku, and here we will find out the version of Haiku that I'm running, which is revision href 56295. I'm running it on my i7 processor, but I am running it in a virtual machine, and I have 4 gig available to it, and at the moment it's only using 317 megabytes of that 4 gig, so quite low on usage actually. Underneath the feather menu here we have the processes, and you can look at things like the memory usage of individual items that are currently loaded, which is really quite nice, and also threads and CPU. and you can go into detail and even set the priority of those CPU threads or application threads if you so want to. That's pretty cool. Also here we have the network preferences, and this is where you would also connect to wireless. The wireless drivers aren't actually included with the Haiku release. However, Haiku have put a guide, a how-to on how to get those drivers up and working under Haiku. It does work absolutely fine with Ethernet, however. And then on here we've just got our volume setting. Great, so what is included with Haiku? So if we go to applications, now I've already installed Calligra and LibreOffice. If we go to LibreOffice and LibreOffice Writer, let's see what version was installed when I installed it. Okay, click Help About LibreOffice, and it's 7.3.3.2. So yeah, a very recent version of LibreOffice, which is fantastic. Let's just take a look at Calligra. And okay, so Calligra, let's just do a blank document. And see if it says anything on the version. I don't think it, maybe it doesn't have the version here of Calligra. No, I can't see it. No. But it looks fairly interesting. I've not used Calligra before, so I'm not very familiar with that product. But it's nice it's there. Now, where did I get those applications, you may ask? So if I click on applications and go to Haiku Depot, Haiku Depot is essentially the synaptic package manager for Haiku, or the software center, and this is where you can grab your various bits of software from the Haiku port repository. You'll notice there that I said ports, and that's because elements of Haiku are actually based on FreeBSD 13.0. So actually the compatibility with certain things is linked into FreeBSD 13.0. So I do wonder if Haiku is going to be based on FreeBSD 13.1, whether compatibility with certain items on laptops, for example, like Wi-Fi cards, the webcams, etc., would be even better. However, the software store has loaded up, and we can take a look at the applications available under featured packages. And as you can see, there are quite a lot of packages. Around 1,300 packages are available at the moment for Haiku, I believe is the case. You can also manage your repositories and get even more applications if you so want to by clicking on Haiku Depot and Manage Repositories. And there are some third parties out there that supply ports of certain BOS applications, so BOS specific applications that will run on here, as well as other applications and ports as well. So there is a massive selection of applications to choose from, and quite surprisingly there are also well-known applications like VLC Media Player. Audacious is on there, Clementine Handbrake, LMMS is also on there, MPlayer. So there is a lot of well-known applications, and you've already seen that LibreOffice is installed. However, if I go to productivity, we can just take a quick look at what else I can install. And already there is a mix of BOS applications like BPDF, as well as other applications that are more well known in the IT world. So that's great. It's comforting to know things like Scribus, etc., and VLC and LibreOffice are available if you need them. And also under video, there is even some video tools like OpenShot, for example, is also available. And I think I've already mentioned Handbrake as well. So there are plenty of applications to play with in this release. And Haiku Depot really is a very nice software center, really works quite well. You get an awful lot of other tools in here, including Activity Monitor. Now, under here, there was something called Show Replicants. Now, what are replicants, I hear you cry? Well, replicants relate to applications that can also be widgets. And if we look in the bottom right here, you can see these funny little hand icons. So if I was to click on that hand icon, you'll see I've got a window there. And let's say I drop it there. I now have a widget icon on my desktop that is showing the CPU usage, and indeed if I wanted to show the memory usage I could just drop that onto the desktop as well. So that's actually really nice, and I can close that and it will continue to run as a widget. So actually pretty cool and easy to use as well. And there are several other applications as well that have that replicant facility. And for example, calculator, and calculator is quite a good one to demonstrate. So again, with DeskCalc, we just go like that, and I'm just going to put a calculator down here so it's always available. That's really nice, love it. You've now got a calculator widget built in on your desktop. So very, very easy to use and figure out, and replicants are a very cool bit of Haiku OS. There are also some demos as well, and they have certain things like Sudoku is there, and other bits and pieces, a font demo, etc. It's worth remembering that Haiku is a beta product, so it is not in production yet. So if you are going to test this and run this and see if you like it, then it is recommended to run this in a virtual machine. However, I have installed it on several laptops, a Dell Inspiron and a HP ProBook, old i5 models, and it worked absolutely fine. And actually the screen resolution also detected okay as well. So one of them was a 1366 by 768 resolution, and the other one was a 1920 by 1080p resolution, and both resolutions detected absolutely fine. Now the web browser on Haiku is something called Web Positive, and this gives us an good opportunity to look at the Haiku OS website. As you can see, as I mentioned earlier, it's on beta 3, and they are currently fundraising at the moment. It is actively developed, so you can see actually at the time of this review 1 hour ago, something was in the source activity, something was posted there. They have got a full-time developer on this now. So despite the fact that the project has been running for it has been running for over 20 years now, it does seem that they are focusing on getting this into production. So I'm very hopeful that this release will actually make it to a production release very soon. If you wanted to download Haiku, you simply click on Haiku, download it now, and you basically can download the Haiku image, and you get your locations where you can download those from, mirror locations, torrents, etc. So that's all quite easy to do. One thing I will say about Haiku is it's not very good at dealing with things like it's not good at dealing with things like YouTube, for example, or any other video players online. So if, for example, I go to YouTube, it's just not going to display those clips at all. Now, part of that problem is to do with the streamer codecs and things like that aren't installed with Haiku by default. However, they do provide an application within the Haiku Depot that allows you to download the YouTube clips directly to Haiku and then be able to play them on the Haiku. So there is a workaround for that, but it is a bit of a shame that the Haiku web browser, web positive, can't do that. There are other browsers also available within Haiku. So for example, if I just move this out the way and go to Haiku Depot, you can see this menu acts as a kind of dock almost in terms of the way the applications are here, and you can quickly switch between them if you want to. So yes, if I go along here and search within the applications, you can really see there are so many applications here. Otter browser is available. Now I have tried all these browsers, and unfortunately yeah, YouTube just doesn't work on any of them. However, what I do understand has worked is the YouTube downloader. There you go, UberTuber. UberTuber grabs clips from various sites and opens them in your media player while they're being downloaded. So, so if you've got a clip that you want to download or a video you want to download, you stick it into UberTuber, and then you should hopefully be able to watch that video. And that's also available for other websites as well, like Vimeo, Google Video, Facebook Video, and other ones too. So hopefully that would work if you are trying to use Haiku, despite it being a beta product. If you are trying to use Haiku and you find you need to watch a YouTube video or any other online video for that matter. So you get a good list of applications. You get 1,300 or so applications in the Haiku Depot. You have a nice little widget system. I do like the look of Haiku. I like the way the vector graphics are so clean and nice and scalable. And certainly when you install it on a laptop, it looks really, really polished, really, really nice. And you also have things like workspaces. I wanted to show this on the workspaces. So if I then, let's make this a little bit smaller so you can see it a little bit better on the workspace. Right, so if I want this on another workspace, I can drag it within the workspace and drop it on there, and actually I can move it around on there and it's there. So go back to this and let's move it up there. Let's have a look. Yeah, I'm actually moving the workspace live within the workspaces manager. Now that is really cool, and you can see it's reacting and changing whilst I am opening up the feather menu as well. So really, really nice little tool that, and very cool that you can just drop it in between like that and away you go. So the workspaces application manager works really, really well. Very cool. Something that I'm not able to show you, which is a shame, is this window behavior. You'll notice these yellow bars at the top of each window, and they can actually be snapped together. So when you have another, let's open up another application. Let's open up Haiku Depot. Now I can't show you on this because the key to lock these together is actually the Windows key or the Option key, and I can't actually lock these together because you hold down your Windows key and it changes like that, and then you are able to lock these windows together, and essentially they behave as one, which is actually really cool. You can move both of them together, they snap together. Really, really nice. All right, web positive. All right, so let's just minimize that. Now, does that maximize it? Yeah. Okay, so there are a number of differences with this that are related to BOS, and also they're not things that we would be used to give from our Windows world. So you do have this stack and tile feature. As you can see there, they've demonstrated how the stack and tile feature works. Very, very cool. And those windows can be connected together and moved around and rearranged, and that's great, particularly when you are working on a project and you want to keep things together. We've already discussed replicants as well. You've got open and save panels as well, which is really, really nice. And that works really nicely. You've got keyboard shortcuts, favorites and recent folders. Replicants is the widgets on the desktop. Certain applications you can also use as widgets on the desktop as well. So lots of really nice little features in Haiku OS. And as you saw, it was really, really quick to install as well. So it's been quite an experience testing this out. On the one hand, I'm quite excited by this project. It's something that is different, and I like different. I like the fact that it's just so completely different to Windows or Mac OS or any sort of desktop environment in Linux at the moment. It looks and feels really nice. The vector graphics that it uses are really lovely and smooth. Animations on a physical machine as well are great. The way that works. Yeah, I'm really, really liking Haiku. My one or my main issue is that it is a beta product, and also the fact that it's been a beta product for over 20 years now. So the question really is, will it ever move into production? My hope is that it will. My hope is that this fundraising target, and I will be giving to Haiku to help with that fundraising. My hope is that they will be able to progress this to a production release, and also that they keep it free so that it does stay open source when it moves to production. It's also interesting that it relies on some of the FreeBSD 13.0 ports as well, so that's quite interesting to me that it does that. And yeah, it has its own terminal, so that doesn't really tell me much at all. It just says version 1. But yeah, so it's a really nice release, but I really hope they can move this now to production. They have got a full-time developer working now, and they seem to be moving this project along quite nicely. There are updates every single day at the moment on Haiku, and so I am hopeful they can move it to a production release. So that's Haiku OS. I hope that you've enjoyed this brief jaunt into the world of alternative operating systems. If you have enjoyed this, and please click on like and subscribe. And yeah, I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching.